Hey there folks, my name is Provis, and today I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive and Triumph Studios to reflect and reminisce upon the last year of Age of Wonders 4 development. It's certainly been a whirlwind, with 3 new DLCs and numerous free updates that have drastically reformed the game. In fact, if you haven't played Age of Wonders 4 since its initial release, you might say it's like a whole new game, even without a single DLC active. Today, we're going to review a timeline of the game's major updates, and I'll focus on a few key highlights from each. We'll start with the Dragon Dawn DLC, released in June of 2023. This was the first major update for Age of Wonders 4, adding the incredibly powerful Dragon Lord as a new ruler type for your factions. These Elder Dragons offered a new playstyle for Age of Wonders 4, with unique skills, equipment, and transformations. Not to mention, you control a freaking dragon on the battlefield. The DLC also saw the introduction of the Lizard Folk physical appearance, plus 2 new tomes of dragon-themed magic, allowing you to evolve your units and summon mighty, you guessed it, dragons. And as exciting as the Dragon Dawn DLC was, we can't forget the impact of the accompanying Wyvern update. In this free patch, we received the new Artifacts Hoarder cultural trait, as well as the Poisonous physical trait to really punish your enemies. The Underground could now provide special resources, and perhaps most importantly, Triumph added some much-needed rebalancing to the game, placing a time limit on summoning spells, because, let's be honest, those were extremely OP on release, and also making Empire skills cost more Imperium and affinities, making your early game choices more important and helping to preserve the unique flavor between factions. And now we jump forward to the free Watcher update released in August. The most important feature in this update was a completely reworked Magic Victory. Previously, to win a Magic Victory, players had to place down 3 special provincial improvements that would then start a countdown timer and eventually win the game. It was a very defensive game mode that required almost no interaction with the other players. But with the Watcher update, everything changed. Players would now need to annex and cast a binding spell on Golden Ancient Wonders, requiring aggressive expansion, a strong military, and a robust economy to support those spells and bend the world to your will. We also saw another set of improvements to the Underground, improving map generation and giving cave-dwelling players tools to claim more territory. Additionally, tome research costs would scale with each completed tome, requiring players to choose between rushing several low-tier tomes or focusing their efforts on a few high-tier tomes. Like with the Wyvern update, this promoted a more deliberate strategy for players, preserving the unique feel for each campaign. Empires and Ashes is the next DLC on our list, releasing in November. For the first time, a new culture was added to the game, the Reaver culture. Aggressive and absolutely ruthless, the Reavers mastered the art of blending magic with technology, with explosive results. The DLC also added the new Avian physical form and a whopping 4 new tomes of magic themed around mechanical units and automatons. Finally, the new Seal of Power victory condition was added to the game, a sort of King of the Hill mechanic, where players would compete to control several key points for as long as possible. Whoever held the most for the longest would win the game. Just like with the previous DLC, Empires and Ashes came paired with more free content, this time in the Golem update. The first and most exciting addition was the Item Forge, a method of creating your own hero items and customizing their powers, adding a whole new depth to heroes and their strategic uses. Speaking of new depths in strategy, we can't forget the rework of faction creation, where players would now spend a set number of trait points when creating their species, allowing for a couple powerful abilities or several weaker ones. We also saw the addition of war coordination with vassal cities, giving the players more control than ever to direct their vassals' armies. And finally, ocean tiles were redesigned, with new tools to improve them and greatly increasing the viability of coastal empires. Jumping into the new year, Primal Fury is the latest DLC, released in February. This DLC also added a new culture, the Primal culture, which was themed around summoning the spirits of 7 primal animals to gain powerful buffs and terraform the land. 2 new physical forms were added to the game, the Lupine and the Goatkin, and also 2 new tomes of magic, including several buffs to oceanic empires with the mighty Naga transformation. And finally, the Wolf update, released alongside Primal Fury, introducing a massive overhaul of necromancy, allowing dark magicians to summon more diverse undead armies with polearms, bows, and magical attacks. War bounties are a new system, providing a cash incentive to push empires into attacking each other without getting your own hands dirty. We've also seen a shift in hero gameplay, where the number of heroes in your empire is no longer tied to the number of cities you possess, but instead the cap increases over time. And finally, the Pantheon System is more impactful than ever before. After every game, your hero will be offered the chance to ascend with a new, permanent trait based on the tomes you selected throughout the game. This trait will give them a distinct advantage in all future games, ensuring that players can create a lasting legacy for the rest of their Age of Wonders 4 experience. And that brings us to June of 2024, with a new DLC on the horizon and, of course, an equally impactful free update. Now, the DLC will be covered in a separate video, but if you'd like a sneak peek of what to expect in the free update, then feast your eyes. Starting with the new Mystic subcultures. Different schools of magic are going to allow you to customize your Mystic experience with attunement, potential, and summoning, each of which are going to have drastic impacts on your gameplay. The free update will also include Unknown Realms as an option when selecting your campaign map. This will hide all traits and reveal them gradually as you play the game, forcing you to react to unexpected situations. And in another quality of life improvement, the player will now have the option to control reinforcing vassal or allied units when setting up their game, giving the player complete control over their coalition in battle. Of course, there are even more features to look forward to, but those are some of the big highlights. As I said, it has been a whirlwind of a year, and the game has changed dramatically. The Triumph Studios team is constantly innovating new ways to enjoy Age of Wonders 4, and I personally can't wait to find out what they have in store next year. Be sure to subscribe to the Age of Wonders official YouTube channel for future development updates, and I will see you next time.